before we really dig into things, we want to break down what is UCI summer session.
Okay. So summer session truly is an important part of the academic year here at UCI. Some people call it the fourth quarter, and more than half of the campus will come to summer session. So that's about 12,000 plus students. So there's over 800 courses offered. There's something for everyone. People use it to get ahead. They use it to take classes that weren't available to them in fall or spring. They use it to take advantage of special opportunities. We have programs for freshmen and transfer students. We have more than 65 online courses, so you could study from your home if you're not here on campus. We have study abroad opportunities in Bali and a global internship program. And important to us, we have a leadership development program for students who have taken part in our summer program. So it's really an important part of the year. I expect all people will end up taking summer session by the time they graduate. More than 80% do, so you can get excited about it now.
Thanks, Lori. Student Support Services.
So Student Support Services again, so we are a department housed under the Division of Undergrad Education here at UC Irvine, and we offer different support services for low-income, first-generation, former foster youth students, disabled students, to make sure that those populations are successful here at UC Irvine, right? So we do so by offering different kinds of services, one-on-one advising. We offer a scholarship for a tutorial service. We have a book loan program, so students can come into our office and borrow a book for a quarter. If we don't have the book, they can request for us to buy it for them and let them borrow it. We also have a graduate school preparation course over winter quarter, and then the Summer Bridge program, which we'll talk about today.
Thank you. So there are many different parts of our team here because every student is so different, right, as an individual, and we want to make sure that we're serving all of you as you're coming into this huge university and that you're going to be successful here. So it's our way of welcoming you and kicking you off in a very good way. So what are we going to be doing here today? Well, David and I went over this PowerPoint and we're talking about all the ins and outs of this program, and we thought, why wouldn't you do this program at the end? So our goal today is to have you leaving this room feeling just like that. Why wouldn't I do Freshman Edge? So if you do have any questions that come up throughout this presentation, please just feel free to raise your hand, jump in. We'd be happy to answer them all along the way. We're going to talk about the benefits specifically, of course, the different pathways of this program, just depending on maybe a certain status or particular needs or just ways that you would like to go about your enrollment. Courses, how does that work? Gaining units during the summertime with us. The mentors, as we have some of them over here. Why are they here? What's their role? What are they doing? Lots of really amazing, great things. That's what they're here for. So we'll go over and we'll hear from them, especially about what they're planning. Events and activities. Of course, we have a robust calendar of events for students who join us early during the summertime. And we have an agenda with that. There are reasons for every single event that we have, not just to have fun, even though some of them are really clearly just a blast, maximum fun. But there's also something that we've incorporated into each event to introduce you to some part of the university or research. So we'll talk about some of those. We will go over housing, the benefits of residential life, living here early before dorm life during the fall. We are going to go over SPOP. Has everybody heard of SPOP yet? I hope.
What is SPOP?
Some nods and some shaking heads. Okay, SPOP, Student Parent Orientation Program. My parents had a heck of a time trying to pronounce that when we first came in. They're like, pops, pop, pop. They just had a really hard time. So, Student Parent Orientation Program. Or you can just say orientation program, right? It's required for all incoming students, so we're going to talk about that today and how we've been working very closely with the orientation program for students specifically in this program. Fees and dates, of course, how to even enroll and get this all started, get this experience started. And then we are going to give the floor to you all. All your questions, all their answers. We will give some time for that.
Great. So Annalisa mentioned, why wouldn't you want to do this program? That's our goal for you today. We want you to come out of this presentation thinking, wow, this is great. I really want to do that. And a lot of the reason you'd want to is because of the benefits that you can gain obviously from Freshman Edge. So the main thing about Freshman Edge is that it's an early start program, right? You get to come to UCI early and start earning units towards your degree right away before everyone else comes in the fall. And I think that's one of our main selling points is you get to come in before, like I said in the video, you get to relax, you get to take it easy, you get to take one course towards your degree as opposed to being kind of thrown into the fire when you get in there at fall. You get to come in during summer and take it with your classmates and get a focus on really what college is all about. So start taking your units early. Like I mentioned all these before. Also, you get to become more familiar with the campus grounds. You get to learn about all like the hot spots on campus, where to eat, where to go work out, etc. And you get to do this in a fashion that's more focused on you rather than kind of during fall when the rush comes. And so it's an exciting program to be a part of. We also have a whole bunch of mentors, like we mentioned earlier. We're going to keep on touting them as we go along. They're going to be here to support you throughout your time here during summer. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns about what college is going to be like, they're going to be there to guide you every step of the way. And so we're really excited to have them, and we really hope that you can come along with us as well.
And it's very often that I hear our mentors say that they felt really good in the fall when they saw some of their friends struggling just to figure out how to use the campus map, how to figure out where their counselor's office was, different resources around campus, right? Not everything's in one building, as I'm sure they can agree. That would be lovely, but maybe a little wild. So there is an office for absolutely everything, dining, housing, right? So all that navigation that David was referencing, really just feeling comfortable with that so you don't have to worry about that during the fall. Pathways that I referenced earlier in the overview. Summer Bridge and Freshman Edge. And the mentors and the Summer Bridge students may be able to chime in a little bit here too. Please note that we invite you all, everyone, to activities and events where you're not going to know who's necessarily in which pathway, right? There isn't this separation. It's one community. We're all going into the university as newly admitted students. Summer Bridge, specifically for your enrollment, is based on the FAFSA. It's a scholarship-based pathway. For Freshman Edge, you can apply for financial aid for that as well, but it's not scholarship-based. The course loads look different. So for Freshman Edge and for Summer Bridge, you're both in this introductory, fantastic foundation course called University Studies. But for Summer Bridge, you take another required 4-unit course called Logic and Philosophy of Science that's just built into the program. For Freshman Edge, you would pick another course that might satisfy another type of requirement that you need to graduate. In both cases, you're earning UCI credits. So you're still getting ahead, and you're still adding that to your UCI transcript. Also, you'll notice housing is required for the Freshman Summer Bridge pathway. It's not required, but it's strongly recommended. There aren't very many downsides that I can think of at all for living on campus, especially before you get here in the fall. Yeah?
For housing, would you already be in the housing where you're going to be during the fall quarter, or is it like temporary housing?
Great question. Summer housing is going to be separate, typically, from your fall quarter housing. So we have a separate contract that you submit. That's a great question.
Right, that's important. It's an entirely separate contract, and so it would not. Some people get confused sometimes about summer living versus actual academic year living, and it's different contracts together. So you'll need to submit like a separate application for housing for during the summer and during the academic year. Does that make sense?
Is that when you apply to or when you sign up to get into Summer Bridge or Edge?
That's correct. Yes.
Yep. We'll walk you through all the steps.
So we talked a lot about, courses, but I bet y'all might be wondering what exactly these courses entail. Like what are you going to be studying in these courses? So for Freshman Edge, let's say you're going to be a Freshman Edge student. You'd be taking University Studies 83, which we've mentioned. What you study in University Studies 83, it's almost like an intro to university course, right? And so you'll be learning a lot of study habits, a lot of resources on campus. You'll be learning how to set goals for yourself for not only, for summer, but for the rest of your 4 years and even beyond. You'll be learning a lot about those kind of things. And also, it can entail a lot of how higher education fits into our society, right? And so there's obviously a lot of questions on where does higher education and where does it come into play as far as the growth of individuals, and that will obviously be touched on in our university studies course as well. And then for Freshman Edge, you have obviously the choice to take an elective. If you're choosing, that will be chosen from a list of our academic advisors have gone through and selected recommended courses for you, right, depending on what major you're coming in as. So that way they don't throw you into a class you're not prepared for, and you're also taking, units that are going to directly affect your major and affect your graduation time. So that'll be awesome. Summer Bridge is very similar. University Studies 84 will cover basically the same curriculum you're going to study in 83, except there's going to be an added writing component to it, right? So that's where the extra 2 units come from, is from that writing component. And then LPS 60, which we've mentioned a couple times being a little more difficult, but that's going to be the Making of Modern Science, I'm sorry. And that's what you're going to be learning there is you're going to be learning a lot about how the scientific method and a lot about how research practices have evolved over time since the scientific revolution. And so this is really good in understanding where research comes from and how to conduct it as you move along through the university.
Mentors. We love our mentors. They're so energetic. They are going to be guiding you this summer, giving their words of wisdom, not just as students who have completed at least their first year here at UCI, but as we mentioned earlier, many of them had done the program in the past, either just the last summer or in previous summers, and so they have a lot of experience under their belt that they want to share with you because they're remembering how the transition was for them. All the little things that may have gotten in their way or made things a little bit more challenging for them. They're here to help you this summer figure out all of those kinks so that in the fall, again, you can focus on your classes and not the map, not how to figure out the map, right? You can just go straight to class and then to your next activity and your organizations that you're involved in, all those things. So they're here to ease the transition for you, and they have lots of things planned to go along with that. They're in training right now. They're doing the leadership development program that we have through summer session, which Lori mentioned earlier. It's a 9-month program. So they did Freshman Edge, or one of our other programs, and thought, well, that was incredible. And they came back, they're mentors, and they're learning different leadership skills that they can take away and onward to professional, career, employment, internship experiences. Some of the things that we go over during the different trainings are mentoring, how to be a mentor, how to support someone, team building, public speaking, communication styles, that can get finicky, so that's always a fun one. Event planning, how to plan events, how to be an event manager, and diversity and identity awareness. A lot of these topics come to the forefront once you get to college. So we're arming our mentors with all these different skills that they can gain. So we hope that if you join the program this summer that you will then come back and help other students and build your resume. Activities. We have a lot of fun activities that we're very excited for this summertime. The main goal is to introduce you to the campus, to other students, to faculty, to PhDs, so that you can really figure out, why am I here? Why am I studying? What is the bigger meaning of my major, my minor? How do things connect? What does a career path look like? Is it A to B? I don't hear that very often. Usually a faculty member will say, I was here, and then I went here, and then I went here, and then I traveled, and then I took a break, and then I came back here, and now I'm the best thing ever, and I'm a faculty member at UCI. So we hear from so many different experts in their fields and faculty members, researchers from all different areas of the campus. Many of these things have happened in previous years, and we're excited to include some of them again this summertime with some new ones, like air-breathing fish. The pictures are so odd, but it's going to be a fantastic lab tour.
Really weird.
We were just looking at it the other day. The chemistry of sugars. We're going to make Dippin' Dots. So if
Exciting.
nothing else has lured you in, I hope that will.
Ice cream, always good.
Right? Yeah, so the ins and outs of the campus.
Awesome.
Really focusing on academia and research, how you can get involved or do your own research project. We have the Sunset Festival, yes.
So let's talk a little bit about program housing, right? We've mentioned a lot. Housing is one of the very, very highly recommended aspect of Freshman Edge, and it actually is a required aspect of Summer Bridge, right? And I've been involved with housing a lot during my undergraduate career. She's been involved with housing a lot. I was an RA during the academic year. She was an RA during summer. And so we both have seen just the connections you can make with people during housing situations, right? When you're living with other undergraduates who are like you, who are like-minded, amazing things can happen. You can make friends that, like I said, the video could last you potentially a lifetime, right? And there's no experience quite like this. And it says it's strongly recommended. I cannot stress that enough. Like, there's no experience like living in a residence hall with other students. And it's a ton of fun. It's fun just to kind of be on your own, you know, and start becoming an independent individual, learning about how to cook for yourself, how to live for yourself, etc. It is something else, and I can't recommend it enough. And so, really, if you're considering it, I'd say go for it. Please consider living on campus with us during summer, because you won't regret it. And like I said, you can meet people that can potentially be with you for the rest of your college career and beyond. And so, I hope you consider it. As far as where you're actually going to be living during summer, it's going to be in our Arroyo Vista housing community. That's going to be up near the Arc. If any of you have visited that area, it's going to be up in that general direction in about 10 minutes. So it is a little farther from campus, but it's a great community, and I've lived in there personally. I can speak nothing but the world of it. So you're going to be at home there, I guarantee it. So, we mentioned earlier we're going to talk a little bit about SPOP. SPOP is your required orientation program coming into UCI. So that's not us. That's going to be an entire university-wide orientation. And it's going to be a 2-day, 1-night program where you stay in Mesa Court housing, actually, not Arroyo Vista. You're going to be staying in a different housing community for a night, and you're going to be working with other students. You're going to be meeting orientation leaders, and this is your main introduction to UCI's campus, right? And so you're going to be signing up for your academic year classes there. You're going to be getting academic advising for what classes you should take based on your major. Learn about different student resources and all that kind of stuff. It's a wild ride for 2 days, and you're going to have a lot of fun. And then after SPOP is over, which we recommend you do SPOP 5, which is on July 31st and August 1st, Freshman Edge starts, you move in the day after this. Or actually, you can move in August 1st, the day when it ends, right? So it really is convenient timing-wise for you to do SPOP 5 and then transition right into Freshman Edge or Summer Bridge, depending on which program you decide to do. So we highly recommend you do SPOP 5, and I hope you look forward to this experience because it's a good one.
And then we check you right in to Freshman Edge. Like David was saying,
Yep.
We're just going to bring you along. Here we go. You are a student. You have access to the resources. You can now start creating bonds, and that's when our mentors step in. You'll meet them all. You'll meet our staff, and we'll get you all set up for the summer and really for the rest of your 4-ish years here. Did you want to add anything about check-in, or? You've heard so much from the mentors, I think, already about their excitements, and a lot of that really comes out on check-in day. So if you have any questions, we can always take those.
All right, so let's talk money a bit. I mentioned this earlier, but there are two, obviously, pathways you can take in Freshman Edge and Summer Bridge. Freshman Edge is, again, on a per-unit basis, so it's $271 per unit, plus a $150 non-refundable campus fee, right? Plus housing, which is going to be $904. So the total without housing is $1,776, and the total with housing is $2,680. So those are going to be what costs you're looking at. Keep in mind that these do not include meals or anything along those lines. They can be purchased separately. Summer Bridge, you will get everything covered for you, your course fees, etc. If you are if you're accepted to the Summer Bridge scholarship, and that $150 mandatory campus fee will be covered as well by the scholarship, as well as housing and all that jazz. So it's a really, really nice scholarship. So if you think you're eligible, we recommend you apply.
So, perfect segue to financial aid. And Eileen said this too. Make sure that you've completed the 1415 FAFSA before you apply for summer financial aid through the UC Irvine's financial aid office. What's really nice is this is on our website. We have a set of steps for you with hyperlinks. So if you want to do financial aid, it's in step 4. And if you have any questions, please let us know about that. So yes, financial aid can be used for freshman ed. It just depends on each student how much you receive. All right, so when does it all begin? It has already begun. So if some of you have decided that you are coming here and you've submitted your SIR, that statement of intent to register in the university, you are set. So you can just tell us right now that you want to come and we will be like, yes. If you have not yet decided, make that decision first and then get things going. The Summer Bridge application deadline is June 1st. So maybe like a month and a half-ish right now, right? Keep that in mind. And as Eileen said, it's on a rolling basis. So the sooner the better that you get those things worked out. Freshman Edge, the deadline to enroll with program housing is July 2nd. Please keep that deadline in mind. It's a hard deadline. Last day to enroll entirely for Freshman Edge is July 15th. So there is some time.
So this is what we're touching on here in the slide briefly is just how to actually apply. Again, on our website, if you go to summer.uci.edu and go to our enrollment tab, you're going to be able to see a step-by-step list of instructions on how to enroll. If you scroll down to the enroll step, you're going to find our applications for Freshman Edge and Freshman Edge, or in Summer Bridge, right? And so if you enroll Freshman Edge, you can just enroll straight into it with the fees and everything, and you're good to go. Again, Summer Bridge is an application process, so just remember to keep that in mind.
Thank you very much for coming today.